everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode from the Lair. And you have to excuse me, I got my hair cut a while ago, and I kind of went in there and said a little off the ears and a little off the neck and trim a little off the top, and they went right to basic training and took me down to 19 again. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck, it's only hair, it'll grow back. You know, the guy was older, barber. Been cutting my hair for a long time, so I didn't make a big stink about it. And let's face it, once you've been balded a couple times, the hair really doesn't become that important, unless it's falling out and it's going gray, which mine is doing a little bit of both. But what are you gonna do? So what do I want to talk about today? All right, actually, I think you guys will really like this one, and it's gonna open a lot of your eyes about what it's like to be a ranger and in the Ranger Battalion, which is very similar to being a farm animal, because that's the kind of medical care you get. So if you want to really know what that's like, there's a vet show out there. I don't remember the name. I watched a couple episodes. It's pretty good. And a lot of the times they do vet medicine on, farm animals. Let's see. I went through some of the sayings that we used to hear all the time when I was in there, and some of the more common things that went on. For instance, now this is a while ago. I don't know what the culture's like anymore, because there's a lot of pussified people out there, and it is what it is. But we used to get IVs all the time. It got to a point where, maybe you're out drinking, the next morning you go to PT, you got a headache, you just walk right into the aid station, go give me a fucking IV, and boom, they give you one on the spot. And they're pretty good at it, so, you get one whenever you want one for the most part, because they always got to practice, because they always got a new medic that's got to stab your arm 4 or 5 times, and then sooner or later, they get up to speed and it's not so bad. Rule of thumb. If your fever is 101 or less, you got the answer: drink water, take Motrin, drive on. Okay, now if it's 102 or higher, usually they give you a day of bed rest or give you an IV and see how it shook out after that. And I already talked about this one of my stories when they sewed up this guy's beanbag and got tore open on a jump. But I've seen guys, get lacerated, cut it pretty bad, and the medic's like, hey, that's got to get sewn up. You're like, oh yeah, it's pretty bad. I think we'll sew it up right now. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen maybe 5 or 6 guys get sewed up pretty good. In fact, I sewed a guy up on his back with some spearmint flavored dental floss, because that's all I had. He's still kind of sore about it to this day, because there's green dots next to the scar, but he got over it. That's another story right there, but you'll love that one. Okay, here's another one. You got something stuck in you, or you got something growing on you, and it's got to come off now. Let's see. I seen a guy, we're doing a jump, and I don't know what it was. It was one of those gutter nails. It was sticking in, I guess it's one of those old fence posts. And it had literally gone through the guy's arm, and he'd wiggle it out and came back to see the medic with his thing stuck right through his fucking arm. And the medic looking at it goes, yep, man, it's got to come out. Takes it right there out on the spot. The guy's, ah! And now I slapped some pressure on there, wrap him up. Did they even send him back to the rear? Fuck no. Finish out the mission, get a tetanus shot later, you'll be fine. Because for the most part, what I'm failing to mention here is when you get to the Ranger Battalion, you're usually between 18 and 24. You are in almost superhuman shape, and you've been vaccinated to everything that you can possibly be vaccinated against, including rabies in some instances, depending upon where you're operating at. Usually you get that shot when you're working anywhere in America of the South. I'm just saying, down there they have a lot of vampire bats. Shit goes on. What are you going to do? Let's see. Hey, Doc, my arm's out of socket. Not anymore, it's not. Seen a couple guys, did a couple drops, landed in the tree. Guy hit the branch, knocked his arm out of socket. Was not in a good way, and, did they send him to the hospital? Not right away. They basically tackled him, held him down, and jerked his shoulder back into socket. And he finished the mission with Motrin and water. And it got to the point where, when guys would get hurt and the medics would tackle them and do some fucking medical shit on them, they would start mooing like cows, because it was like the standing joke. That's how we were treated. So, get them, they drag them, and you hear them, and they'd go down there and do their thing, and the guy would scream or whatever it is. It's pretty fucking hilarious. Let's see. Broken bone. Okay, now, because you're 18 to 24 and you're in the best shape of your life, you break a bone, and if it's not sticking out of your skin and you can't really get to the medic or the hospital in a quick manner, like in a day or so, it's really bad to try to set it after, I think, 18 hours. I've seen about 3 or 4 guys literally standing there and having their arms set and then put into a splint, and they hung around to the next day, and when the helicopter came to take them to the hospital. They're pretty good about broken bones. Fingers and toes didn't count, neither did your nose or a tooth, but if it was a leg or an arm, usually they would get you medevaced out to the hospital. So, that was pretty good. Here's another one here, and this one is very common in the winter. Hey, Ranger, your lungs are full of fluid. Maybe you should run it off. Never mind the fact you got one lung full of fluid and you're walking pneumonia. Go run about 5 to 10 miles and clear that shit out. Hey, you're 18 to 24, you're indestructible. So a lot of these guys did it. Here's another one. You'll love this one. My leg hurts. Oh, okay. Run on the other one. I can't tell you how many times I heard that one. Because, I've had a couple, twisted ankles and some pretty bad shin splints in my career. Take Motrin, drink water, run on the other leg, you'll be fine. It's just serious shit here. I know I'm laughing because it's funny now that I'm looking back at it. But when you're there, you're like, what? What the fuck? Maybe you think you're used to getting some sympathy from your mother, or maybe somebody actually gives 2 fucks about you. But they don't, so, it is what it is. You're there to do a job. You move from point A to point B. You carry your workload. You do what you got to do. And the medics are just there to make sure you do it. Okay. It is what it is. Here's another one. We'd be doing PT or some crazy long movement, and some guy would pass out or go unconscious. Because your body will tell you when you've had enough, because it'll just turn off. And the first thing the medic will say is he still breathing? Yeah? Yeah, he'll be okay. Give him an IV and, drag him up against the tree over there and let him wake up. He'll be all right. I'm not even fucking kidding. I've seen that too. That's some good ass shit right there. All right, here's another good one. Now, I know I'm talking to, some mad trash about these guys, but they were really good about keeping you going. The thing is once you're treated like that long enough, you get to the point, either you're stupid or you develop, your will of iron, that you'll literally drive yourself beyond, safety limits where you quite possibly could die. And I seen it this one time. We did a 12-mile battalion run, and I don't know if this guy was drinking the night before. It wasn't put out. We're going to run 13 miles. We're thinking it's maybe 7 tops. Usually it's 5. No, we had to run 13 fucking miles. So, if you sweat too much, and a lot of people don't know this, you will actually sweat out a dangerous amount of your electrolytes, and bad shit happens to you. So we get done with this 13-mile run, and I'm not going to say the ranger's name, but literally he's got eyes and they're going in different directions. He's tweaking out. And we grab him under the arm and we run him right to the aid station. And the medics were like, oh, he's fucked up. He had dehydrated himself to the point where it was starting to interfere with his, heartbeat and, vital functions within your body. Because normally a regular dude would, stop when he got to, anywhere near that. But, since we're Airborne Rangers and we're used to operating beyond those boundaries, crazy shit happens. So they're trying to give him IVs, and I'm watching the whole thing, and he's so dehydrated they can't fucking get an IV in there. And they weren't going to do a cut down on him to try to get to a vein. So literally the doc's like, all right, up his ass it goes. So literally they take the hose, ram it up his ass, and the guy's like standing on the IV bag. It's, a liter and a half, and fills him right up. And I'm watching him because he's on the machine, where keeping his pulse is like 195, and it's going up like to 210. Where, usually your heart taps out at like 220, and then if you go beyond that, you start damaging your heart. And within 5 minutes, it went from like 195, 200 to like 160, and then, a few minutes after that, they're able to get the veins, and they stuck an IV in each arm. And within an hour and a half, he was up and walking around. He got 1 day of bed rest, God forbid. He earned it, I guess, but, that was kind of interesting. There's another one. We're on this one deployment, and, we're always fucking with each other. And these 3 Rangers were standing, eating their MRE, doing their deal, and they were about, I'd say 60 feet away. And then one of my buddies that's with me is just fucking around, and there's a hornet nest, like right by them. Okay, I don't know why they didn't have good situational awareness. Now, I don't even know this is going on, because I'm eating my food. I'm not really paying attention either, because I'm hungry as fuck. My buddy throws a rock at the hornet nest, just fucking around, And fate would have it, bullseye. Who's the first people to get fucked up? The 3 Rangers. The 3 Rangers that were sitting right there. Now, they didn't get like 1Z, 2Z stings. I mean, 2 of the guys got stung pretty good, but they were faster than the other guy. He got royally fucked up. Yeah, I think he got stung like all over his neck, and the back of his head, and his arms, and they got under his shirt and were stinging him, and he was fucked up pretty bad. So, we get on the radio, they call the medic, and like, hey, we got a guy stung up really bad. And the first thing the medic says is like, is he still breathing? Can he breathe? We're like, yeah. Oh, he'll be all right. Give him some Benadryl. Fuck him. He shouldn't have been fucking with the goddamn hornets. Because that's the first thing they ask. Okay, you get bit by a snake, you get stung by a fucking bee, fucking tore up by a spider, scorpion, what have you. Any flora or fauna that fucks you up, the first thing they do is they sit down and they get all nice and like, so, you got stung, huh? Were you fucking with it? Because they know you're 18 to 24 and you're fucking stupid. And a lot of guys take sticks and poke shit and they get fucked up. They learn the hard way. Let's see. And this one happened to me. I got done with SFAS, Special Forces Selection. All right. Now, physically, I didn't have a problem up until towards the end. And a guy dropped a log on my foot and fucked up my fucking toes and screwed up my walking pattern. And I developed double vascular thrombosis in both calves. That's blood clots in your calves. It was all bruised. It looked like the back of my legs were just bruised up 3 ways to Sunday. So I get back on crutches, go on sick call. They put me up on the fucking table, and the first thing they do is like, oh, I gotta break this up. And they're like punching the fucking back of my fucking cast. Now, you can get a blood clot, can go to your lungs, or your fucking brain. It can fucking kill you. But hey, you're 18 to 24, you're goddamn indestructible, fuck it. We're gonna get the fucking fluids going, you're gonna be fine. Sons of bitches. Alright, now you're gonna love this one. And this happened a couple times when I was living in the barracks as a lower enlisted. Usually it would happen on like a weekend And the medic would come out, you know, the platoon medic would have a megaphone, and he'd be like, all right, Ranger such and such has got crabs. You know the drill. And we'd all be like, oh my God. Gotta rip off all the linen off your bed, right? Bring them out there, put them in a pile, they get sent to laundry, that's it. All your shit's gotta get washed that day, so your fucking day shot. You wanna go out and bang some bitches, you can't. They won't let you go until you've scrubbed with the soap that kills that shit and washed all your stuff, which takes pretty much all day because there's like 8 washers and dryers for an entire fucking platoon. Takes all day. So that sucked. And we'd always be like, you motherfucker, what the fuck? And they always like, I must have caught it off the bathroom. Yeah, sure. Right. Yeah. Right. It is what it is. So anyway, that's just... Anyway, that brings back some good memories. Just so you guys give you a picture of what it's like, when you're, the tip of the spear and you're like the elite soldiers and, that's your job. It's all you do in the Ranger Battalion, 24/7, 355 days a year, because they usually give you Christmas off. You prepare for war, train for war, study for war, you live for war. That's the way it is. No time for being sick. If you're fucked up, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 days off. If you get hurt on the, they'll give you like 1 to 3 months to physically fix yourself. After that, all bets are off, and you could quite possibly get transferred to another fucking unit because you're broke. Anyway, that's the medical culture in the 2nd Ranger Battalion as it was in the early 90s and late 80s. And you guys have a good evening.